Now, the parts of a research paper look like this put together, and the logic is important. Now, the logic is like the king or the queen of your paper. So the introduction begins broad and then goes narrow as it talks about your specific study and its methods and results. And then the discussion goes broad again when you talk about the real world implications of your work. Don't forget the beginning has the title and abstract, and the end has the end matter, such as references and ethical declarations. So this does look like a king or queen chess piece on the chessboard. Now, as I said, the beginning has a general background, and then the topic and problem of your study, then your specific aim and methods and results, and then you talk about the how the results are relevant to what has been published, you interpret and explain them, and finally give a solution to the problem with its real-world implications. Now, the logic is important, so look out for links between the aim and the problem. You should be answering that question in the study. And the findings, of course, should be linked to the methods, and that should be relevant to the aims. The conclusion should use similar wording to the problem and aims, and be supported by findings, which are only as strong as the methods. So everything is tight and consistent and linked to each other. If it's not linked, you can comment on this in your review report. Another thing to look out for is the global message. It should use a problem-solution structure. This means the introduction should state the situation and problem. Your methods and results give the support for your proposed solution, and then you evaluate your data and give the final solution and why it's important in the discussion and conclusion. So here's an example of a coherent and consistent logical link between the introduction and discussion. The beginning of the introduction is about the problem, so the topic is open access publishing. Then we have the signal words, recently there has been, so that signals there's going to be a problem, and here it's predatory journals, fake journals. The aim, which will be at the end of the introduction, is signaled by we carried out, so we know that's the author's study, and they use very similar wording for looking at the characteristics of potential predatory journals. Then the conclusion, which will be at the end of the discussion, is signaled by we have identified, and then they say they found 13 characteristics by which predatory journals may be distinguished from legitimate journals. Again, the wording is very similar to the aim and also the problem. So it's okay to repeat specific key phrases. That actually helps with the logic of the paper. So if you see that something is not logical, again, you can comment on this. So there are signal phrases that are clues for each part of IMRAD. For example, the problem statement often begins with a however, and then words such as alternative approach, challenge, remains a problem, or few studies have looked at something. There's also general linking words that give you an idea what the author is thinking. For example, addition will use these types of linkers, in addition, furthermore. Contrast will use however and in contrast. Sequences will use first and second and third. And conclusions will use in conclusion, in summary, we conclude. So there's many more of these types of transition words that help with the logic.